Hi everyone. Just wanted to let you know we had some technical difficulties with the live stream. So we are recording this video and then we will upload it into YouTube so you can watch it later. So today I have with me Alexey and Alexey's friend. How do I pronounce your name? Mikhail?
Mine,
No, your friends.
Mi- Mikhail,
Mikhail? Okay.
Mikhail.
So I have Alexey and Mikhail. Mikhail was on the live stream. We had issues, so he's joined the Zoom meeting here with us. So Alexey, do you want to introduce yourself first, and then we can talk a little bit about yourself, about SQL Harmony, and then we can probably go into a demo and talk about the tool itself.
All right. My name is Alexey Matveev. I'm Oracle Fusion developer. I have more than 20 years of experience of implementing Oracle projects, but from functional side, I was working in Oracle Russia for a little bit. Last year and a half, I'm working as developer. I switched from functional to technical side completely, and I made SQL Harmony.
Okay. I'm just going to share the uh, tool itself while we talk about this so everyone can see what we're talking about. All right, Alexey, you said you didn't start as a Oracle Fusion consultant, right? Or a developer, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. How did you transition to being an Oracle Fusion developer?
Well, I was given an opportunity because um, this new reality, and no need to comment on the latest news on TV, so that it makes more comfortable to work on remote work as a remote employer. And for me, being technical consultant, something I had to catch up a little bit, because from functional side you kind of things, but not as deep as technical consultant. But luckily I was given opportunity, and I learned SQL deeper, and I was given this role, which I was happy about. So yeah, that's
Okay. Okay. Good to know.
brief.
Good to know. How is your experience so far with Oracle Fusion?
Um, I like it. I like increased features. I like enhancements which Oracle Fusion made. I really like BI tool, what opportunity it gives, and well, to be honest, I enjoy it. It was scary at the beginning. And by the way, I'd like to mention that your videos helped me a lot to enroll into BI Publisher and OTBI. And again, let me use it as an opportunity to say that your content is probably is the best. Okay, from my opinion, that if anyone wants to start a BI Publisher, he should just start watching your videos.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
I'm
it.
really I really like the fact that, unlike in previous version of Oracle, you can just build your own report in just I don't know, 10 minutes, and publish it, and make it available for end users, and that's great features. And also, well, that's much more features appeared. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the only thing that's missing in that is what you created in SQL Harmony, because if you go into BI Publisher data model, you have this small window where you have to write your SQL. It's not even visible, right? So yeah, I think we'll talk a little bit more about that later. You not only work on Fusion and SQL, right? You do use other technologies as well, right?
Uh, my work includes BI Publisher, OTBI, and some data conversion tasks. But I'm a big fan of Python programming language, and I try my best to keep this skill alive, and whenever I see any opportunity to use Python in my job, I do it just because I think they match together, although it's maybe not so obvious match, but there are a lot of tasks you can do with Python, and that's something I develop.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Good. I mean, we'll talk more about it. Um, now the bigger question that I have is, I know this, but I'll ask you anyways. Why did you create SQL Harmony? What prompted you to create this?
It's very simple because I do a lot of SQL queries in my job. And as you mentioned, this little window of BI Publisher, uh, it's just too small to work. And I try to, well, this was the main incentive to build something for myself. And first version was just good enough to kind of be a little bit better than just BI Publisher, but it would still be better for me. So I started using it early. And then little by little, I added some functions. And then at some point, it was a really short distance between what I have in my local server and the just purely web-based resource. So Mikhail gave me some ideas about this. And well, it just took about a couple of weeks to just add the proper domain name and just publish it online. And it turned out that it's not so difficult to make it available for my colleagues. So that's I really enjoyed this part. So I asked Mikhail to test it. I asked some colleagues to test it. I get a lot of feedback, a lot of features requests. Can you please add this and this? And what you see now in SQL Harmony is, well, I think half of it was built with my colleagues' requests. So they asking me to add these features, and I was really happy about just to because that make them closer to their needs, and I myself start using these features.
Okay, good. Mikhail, I'm glad you're here. What are your thoughts when you first saw this? What did you like about it?
In fact, it was a rather nice case how the harmony was created. I think that we start with I met first or Alex, I think 25 years ago.
Wow.
It was a long story. We work in the same in a small consultancy, implemented the software. Now it's Epicor. Then we both work in Oracle for several years on the same project. And Oracle, and I just a little bit surprised that Alexey don't talk about his functional great experience, that he was a rather professional functional consultant in general ledger, supply chain, and costing. And about the harmony, so it's Alex work a lot and develop his technical skills a lot, and he work heavily with Oracle Fusion. And it's a generic need. If you are a functional, if you're a technical consultant, you need to run queries. And the issue was to find a proper lead, the proper technical possibility just to utilize, to make it available. Oracle, thanks God that the Oracle provide us that access. It's not very obvious, but it's possible. And when we realize this possibility, the work starts. And Alexey created, step by step, create this program. I see it from the beginning. I see how it's evolved, how I maybe I'm a little bit not so optimistic. I'm much more conservative man than Alex, and I always, Alex, please stop. It's quite enough even for the pilot. Yes, I use SQL Navigator or DB Weaver for in average 3 hours a day. Despite I'm a purely functional consultant in my task. Yes, I write a lot of SQL. And the need of this program is absolutely clear. And couple days ago, our common colleagues also joined. We work on the same project. He saw it and he said, "Oh, I missed this tool." And again, this guy have a 15 years experience in Oracle, and we always run the report for AP, for ER, for everything. And yes, BI tool is what Oracle provide. Thanks God that it's provide us up to now this possibility to run SQL.
Yeah.
But anyway, Alexey did a great job, and I really like that it first of all evolving to provide the ChatGPT integration functionality. But Alexey will talk, and it's a great tool.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I think so too. So I've been doing SQL and BI Publisher for a quite long time now. I've explored like three other tools probably. One is called Cloud Miner. There's another one from a company called BI Splash. They're all paid services. You have to install a software, and then it kind of mimics Oracle's SQL Developer. If you know the SQL Developer tool, it mimics those two, But yeah, so when Alexey reached out, I think the first time you reached out for something else.
Yeah.
Right?
I hope to talk about this also later.
But yeah, I was probably busy with so many other things. I didn't pay attention. But yeah, I'm glad I was able to check out SQL Harmony. So yeah, we know the struggle of a technical consultant in terms of executing SQL queries. When it was on premise, you had tools like Toad. You had tools like SQL Developer, which was easy for us to use and do things. So I'm sure Alexey will show the tool itself, but I will go through some more questions and then we can get into the tool. Tell me about the development of the tool itself. Is it just we all know it's just you. So what's behind the scenes? What are the different technologies that you have used for SQL Harmony?
It started growing quite naturally, and it wasn't just planned and built. So it in a way it evolved. I started with trying to utilizing general REST IP service in Oracle, and I started building some system of classes in Python, which allow me to easily connect with different REST API and then manipulate them just to change like endpoint with instance or maybe some user instance. So I made this system of classes which was just convenient for every REST API task. And then we discussed with Mikhail the possibility to connect SQL. And when this possibility arisen, it was quite natural to add this possibility to the program which I already made. So I added SOAP calls for this, and then I started building front end for this. I used fast API framework of Python, and I just built like a recommended authorization system, and I realized that I started getting more deeper into front-end technologies. I used a lot of JavaScript, and then I started picking up the right editor for the tool. So I was choosing between Miro and Monaco, and because I'm a big fan of VS Code, I chose Monaco editor, which in my opinion is the best, to be honest. I just like it, the functionality it provides, and it turned out that it's just it's just something you can add to your project. So Microsoft allow you to include Visual Code Editor to your front-end systems and just use them, which is very nice of them.
Yeah, I
Uh,
didn't know that, but yeah, good to know.
yeah, to be honest, well, I think a lot of features which SQL Harmony has, it goes to Monaco editor, to be honest. Like, I, people sometimes give me credits for nice features of this editor. It's their job. Well, okay, that's you have to mount this, yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but they do a great job for this.
Yeah, good, good, good. Okay, so one more question maybe, and then we can show the demo of the tool itself. One of the big question, and you and I discussed, is about security.
Yeah,
So I know when we log in and register, you do have the option to use cookies. So you don't have to store your instance password in the server itself. You can store it locally using the cookies. So I just wanted to, maybe you can talk a little bit about security um, overall. Like, one is the user login. So I'm registering as a user, so that's okay. It shouldn't be a problem. But if I have multiple instances that I want to register, how do you think you're going to take care of security that way? So maybe talk a little bit about that, and then we can
yeah,
go into the demo.
uh, yeah. Let me describe it. Um, let me describe it in as much detail as I can. It's important for me to be open with what I'm doing, and so everybody understand what's happening with the data. The project is hosted on big German cloud company called Hetzner. So I rent a virtual machine there, and I'm the only user for this machine. So I I have big long password of it, and basically there's also um, uh, there are two containers which are there, two Docker containers, one database container and one backend container. So this all hosted on this server. So that's, again, that's only me have access to this. The project itself is protected with GVT authorization. So every time you connect, GVT token is created in your browser, and it lasts for 2 hours.
Mhm.
So that's the basic thing. The other thing, it's important to mention that this is not for production data, and I would like to stay as far as possible from any sensitive information. But also, I can guarantee and demonstrate it to sort of anyone for whom it's important. If somebody would like to have like an audit, I'm open for this. Like, I'm not collecting your data for any like purposes, and I'm not, that there's no interest to get any data of yours. That I
Yeah.
collect queries which people have, and we discussed the possibility of allowing users to choose if they want queries to be collected. And I probably will add this feature. The only thing I'm trying to figure out how to build it in terms of architecture. Like, if a person, I believe that getting history of your queries is a very powerful tool. And what SQL Harmony offers, it offers quite a decent search. So you can search on date you run your query. You can use table names, which mentioned in the query. You can use status, like only successful queries, to analyze that. It's pretty comfortable to have this history, so you don't have to save all your queries. However, if I have this demand, or maybe I will build it anyway. I will give a choice of user. If he doesn't want his query to be collected, then fine. They just and just his history won't be collected.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So maybe I'll add to what you just mentioned, Alexey, just for everyone to know. So, us Fusion technical consultants, when we start developing reports, we run a lot of queries just to test out a few things, right? So,
yeah,
I think that's what you should use this for now, right? Because you run queries, you test, and you make sure it's working.
yeah,
You see some records, you see that the data is coming out correct. So all of those things you can do. And obviously there are other features in the tool which will help you to speed up the process. And Alexey will show all of that. But please don't use your production, don't log into your production instance and, execute queries in there. So that's what Alexey was saying. It's not meant for production data. So for dev, if you want to try and test out queries, I think it's okay. So again, you stay away from executing production queries. Okay. Maybe I'll hand it over to you, Alexey. Sorry, Mikhail.
Can I
sure.
also add about the production?
Yeah.
First of all, it can hardly believe that the real Oracle Cloud companies or customers really allowed to log into the Oracle without SSO.
Yeah.
And it's simply not possible. And the user even don't know the Oracle password, and it will stop for the 99%. Yes, there is a certain limitation for the technical aspect, for the calling some SOAP API. It's some certain lack of Oracle security. But usually it's depend on a customer on production how to manage the role access. But again, I'm work under the SOX and under the compliance. It's extremely important to be understand developer need, also the customer need. Please be aware when you use and consider it.
Yeah, great point, Mikhail.
Sorry for interrupting.
No worries. It's all good.
Okay.
Good point. Good point. Alexey, I'll hand it over to you. Maybe you can share your screen, take us through the tool
just a second.
itself.
How to view option? Okay. I found about share screen. Yeah, share screen. Okay. Can you see my screen now? I'm sharing my screen.
You are sharing it. It says I am sharing my screen, no? Okay. I'm gonna stop share.
Alexey,
oh, yeah, I can see.
Alexey, it's possible to see your screen. Yes.
I can see your screen.
Possible.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see SQL Harmony, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's start with something a little bit advanced, I would say. Okay, but this is just dummy PLS code function. So let's start from this option. Why we need this checkbox and what is responsible for? You see, Oracle allows to from certain version, I don't remember from which one, but this one allows to include PL/SQL functions to the code and then use then just refer them in queries. So for this case, you use semicolons inside the text. So when you want SQL Harmony to read semicolons as a code, then you just put PLSQL and just hopefully it will work. Okay, but in some other situations that maybe you want something else. Okay, I just put from dual. So, okay, let me make it like this. All right, so I'm just putting the cursor here and I'm just running it. And because it's not a PLS code regime, so we see this query executed. And if I go here, I press Control Enter, and the second query launched. So sometimes I'm writing, I find this convenient. Sometimes I write something which, like, I do a lot of select stars from, and when I'm searching some data, I'm in this regime. But sometimes I need quite complicated queries to be executed.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let me show you some other query. This is much more complicated query. So that's, you can see that's it's 170 lines in it, and this kind of the demonstration that SQL Harmony can produce, can process such queries as well. So this query, it converts one data to another data. And let me show you some other features. Okay, let's move it here. So you can see, like, this query do union all for select all from dual, and you can see this number 2 here. So for all your queries which you do, I actually run it twice, and I deliberately did it, even understanding that it affects performance, and obviously it takes longer time to get data. But for myself, I realize that for me it's extremely important to know how much rows my query returns, especially when I build some complicated joins. And it's very common situation for me when I join something and then accidentally the number of rows just become double. And I would like to, understand it as soon as possible, because maybe I, missed something. Like it's very common, for example, for EGP system items, for all inventory items. So they kept, for several inventory organizations. So before, as soon as you have to limit them by inventory organization, otherwise your query will just multiply 10 times, like the number of organizations you have. So I thought that I better wait for half a second more now, then realize that actually I kind of working for 2 hours for some query, and I'm already lost, integrity of it, because I joined them like 2 tables ago. I joined them wrongly. So I thought, like, for me, that's important. That's why I added, like, every query you run, it has this number here. However, it doesn't work with complicated functions. Like for this, if you can see, you see tilde. So for PL/SQL functions, like, it takes some efforts to make it work, because I was, using some processing of the query. So I'm adding wrap of select count star from the query. I had to add this. So I took it as a text, and then I use Python library for SQL parsing, and then I wrap it into some query. So, okay, basically, I think it's worth mentioning that every query which SQL Harmony processes is accomplished with this thing, fetch, I don't know, 100 rows. I don't remember the exact phrasing. Can you help me, Arun? Do you remember? Only something like this. Fetch first.
Yeah, I think it's fetch first.
I think it's something like this. So this phrase is added to all the queries under the hood. And for this reason, by the way, and it's a bug which exists at the moment. If you use this phrase now, it won't work, because Oracle won't allow you to do this line twice. So I adding it on with every query. So this is something I will improve. But for simple queries, it use let me run some queries, some other queries. Oops, it disconnected. Let me connect again. Okay, when you get disconnected, your last submit saves the screen. So you should worry about your data lost. And if you start writing something and you press submit and you're thrown away, you just log in again and everything is safe exactly as you leave it. Okay, so I run it. Okay, so you can see this query, FND currency, it's returned 6 rows. So it shows.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so let's work with a little bit. I did some preparations, but let me do things from scratch. Yeah, just made sure it works. Okay, so for example, we made search from all tables, right? And we found the tables which we wanted, and this is this table. Okay, so all the tables of SQL Harmony work this way. As soon as you click on them, you see the cell copied to clipboard, so you don't have to worry about selecting them and pressing Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. So it's here. So it only takes to press Ctrl+V, and your data is here. So the same works for any column. Like, I don't know if you want this. All right. So okay, I'm running this query. All right. So this is a table I want to do select. So I want currency code, name, and description, and that's all I need. So this is something you showed, but let me show something else.
Okay.
Right. For example, I want to add alias for this because I'm going to make join. So this is what I can do. I press Alt, hold it, and then I press here. So multiple cursors appeared. So I use fct dot, and I remove dot from here. So now I have an alias. The other thing which I found useful, and that's my colleague asked me for this. So for example, for some reason, I'm interested in getting the list of currency codes, like pretty much any column. So I select the column I need and I press this button.
Yeah.
And I see values of column currency code copied to clipboard, and they copy it this way. So they copy it as a list with comma separated values and taken in brackets. This is especially useful when you building a query and using a lot of joins, and then you just need some IDs. So for example, you want to quickly to check if this key is indeed can be used to join these tables, and you want just just 3 IDs and just quickly to check something. So this is how you do it. Okay, this is what I want you to show.
Did you say when you put the alias, did you press the Alt key on the keyboard? Okay, you keep it pressed and then click.
Yeah, and then just click, and then basically it is quite nice feature. Let me show you what else can do. Okay, I'm pressed here. I'm putting Alt, and then so for example, I want to select, and you can see that the size of these fields is different, right? And for example, I want to select them all for some purposes. So I press function, should be, and I selected them. So you see, because I pressed function and I pressed shift function right arrow, so it was smart enough to highlight them differently, right? So I can press copy, and if I want to copy them somewhere, so it just allow me to do this copy.
Yep.
Okay, I think it makes sense to cover some features of Monaco because I think they're really nice and they're not so familiar to Oracle users. Let me start with what I use. Okay, my favorite one is you press Alt and you change. You can just, you know, something I use a lot. So you can move any object with just Alt pressed. Very convenient. Sometimes you want to add some other data and you need just to keep the previous one and you need to adjust a little bit the other one. So you press Shift Alt arrow down and then you put it a little bit down. So you immediately have access to copy. Right. So this is a really nice feature, especially when you work with complicated query. Let me try to open one. I need a query with a lot of brackets. Okay. So, for example, I'm here and you see that that's a really, really long line. Okay?
Yeah.
And sometimes these lines can be, you know, your opening bracket is in one line and your closing bracket is somewhere else. You have no idea when. And what you can do, you press Shift Control and slash, and you switching between brackets. Okay. So that's allow you very quickly to understand what you're working with, right? So that's especially useful when your query is just you know, spread across across multiple lines vertically.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is very useful. Basically,
you want to show the format function?
Okay, about format function. The issue with format function is it doesn't allow you to go back. So it kind of breaks the Control Z thing. So at the moment, this is the scenario to use format function. Let me just do it like this. So I put select from, okay, IP invoices. IP invoices. Oh, if I press format, so it adds here. Let me use it for something more interesting. Yeah, for example, for this. Okay, by the way, this is how Expac function works. Expac replaces everything that was there with something which is in your clipboard. So that's, you can do it. Sometimes it was requested by my colleague, and I think it's a really nice feature. This is how format was applied. And you can see I'm not proud of it at the moment. So it does some job. I especially wanted to make commas here because I like, you know, to be commented in and out. And this is, by the way, one of the function of Monaco. But I will improve it. But for now, you know, I don't know. I'm not proud of it. It kind of does the job.
Yeah, I think it works. It works. Like if you have no formatting at all, like you write some query in one line, sometimes we do it.
Yeah.
So it kind of allows you to immediately, or you know, in a second, right? Even doesn't even take a second, but you can get a formatted query. And if you can get that, you can then format it yourself, you know, the way you want.
Yeah, with its current status, I would recommend like use it maybe once and just keep, you know, the structure as it is. Its main problem, and I would like to kind of give a warning about this. It doesn't like commentaries.
Okay.
So it's, like I couldn't make it work, but I stopped working on this. Like I switched to other features.
Yeah.
Okay, people didn't complain much about this. So people say, okay, we're fine with it. Like if we want something more complicated, we just use some other. So I said, okay, if you're happy, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so Xpaste, and that's Xpaste feature brings us to history feature because they really work well together. History feature, yeah. So you can see that every query which you made is kept, and you can search for this. So you see that kept status, and for me, it was really important to go back. Sometimes I made something, I received get some result which I liked, and then I kind of forget how I did it, and it's only thing I remember, like it was yesterday at 5 p.m. So like all I have to do is just find what I did at 5 p.m. yesterday and just type like this. So this you see, you don't have to select it. So it only takes one click, and the query copied to clipboard, and then you press Xpaste. So it's immediately replaces with what you have.
I have a suggestion, maybe.
Okay.
Just by seeing this, I was thinking maybe it's useful. Can I go to my history and then give a name or a description to the specific query? So if I wanted to call it,
yeah, like
whatever.
add commentary, like a commentary.
Yeah, just like another field where I can give like a short description of what it was.
Okay.
So when I search, I can search for, I don't know,
Yeah.
I could say like journal entry detail or something like that, right?
By the way, this is workaround. We all like workarounds. We all that's immediately available workarounds. Aaron's comment.
Okay, there you go.
And okay, it won't work because I didn't press PLS Code. It will give me an error now. Yeah.
But I think it'll still be in the history, no? Maybe.
Yeah, probably. Okay, it produced the result, and then history. Yeah, you see Aaron's comment.
Okay,
so
okay.
That's how I search.
No, yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, you don't have to add a new field, but yeah, that's a good option too.
Yeah. But maybe it's a good idea to just mark them somehow. Like maybe you want to comment something in the past.
Yeah.
But this is some workaround.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Let's talk about ChatGPT and the opportunity it gives. Yeah, let's break something first and then try to kind of connect it. Okay, this is broken enough. Okay, by the way, the behavior you received during the video was because your previous query was not marked with semicolon.
Yeah,
so if you want, it checks between semicolons to run. Okay, so this will give us an error. Right, and okay, that's the reliable thing to highlight. I just want to avoid the error.
Surprises.
Okay, so and because I have it long, so it added it right in the end. So it adds fixed right in the end.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it basically kind of fixed it somehow, but it's not enough for us. So because we want, okay, let me run it. Let me run it. Because there are four fields to be summed, okay? So we want these ones to be summed as well. Okay. And yeah, we want this to be fixed also. Okay, so it correctly does this. See, it removed these two fields from group by clause. What can be more frequent case is that you get your query fixed, but without comments. So after a certain amount of changes, if it, for example, if it has to do like 5 changes or 6 changes, it's still with every number of change, the chance you get the correct result is decreasing, unfortunately. But you will get, sometimes you get corrected query, but it somehow kind of ignores your request to describe it. So it's just, this is your corrected query, but don't ask what I did. So that's one of the frequent behavior of ChatGPT. But okay, I don't mind it. Sometimes I just need it to be fixed, and okay, that's in this case it provided, but this kind of alive thing. So this artificial intelligence, and even if I do it like second time, we can do it also. Like we can do it second time. There's a very good chance that we get some, a little bit different result. So let's see what it gives us. Yeah, you see that's different. You see, okay, so it did the same, but it added this thing, which kind of like, that's the same thing, but it's not consistent. Yeah. And if we run it 5 times, sometimes it just helped us without explanations at all. They just, here's your query. Just don't ask questions.
Yeah, but it's more like a helping hand, right? It's not trying to be perfect, but yeah. So I mean, this time it worked.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that it tells you what it did is good because you know what was fixed. So yeah, I think
it took about 3 days to fix the prompt.
Okay.
Basically, I now, I was laughing when I heard about prompt engineer as a new profession. I laughed, and it's like I only imagined he's like a lazy guy who does no programming, who can only ask ChatGPT about everything. And I was like, okay, that's the new name for unqualified. So they say prompt engineer. Okay, good to know. But then after these 3 days of working on this prompt, I realized that actually you have to understand what you're asking for. So now it's quite a robust abstract about the code. So it took me about 2 hours to come to this formulation. So I started with just fix the SQL query, just fix the SQL query, and I started getting the very random results. So like some of them were fixed, some of them he just like didn't fix at all. Sometimes he fixed something but left something unfixed. So I said, okay, you keep fixing it until it's working. And this was one of the most valuable phrases. Like when I, come up with it, I felt like I get immediate result, and I get immediate raise of reliability. He start delivering, consistent results after this phrase appeared. And then I said, okay, but now please add this. And okay, this was like a work. Like I cannot say it was something easier than programming. It wasn't. That actually is a profession.
Yeah. Good to know. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking the same thing. Prompt engineering. I was like, what's there with prompt engineering? But yeah, having played around with ChatGPT and Google Gemini and all, I do understand that you have to ask the right question. Otherwise,
Okay. So I showed we covered this one. We covered Expac format. Call, you showed it. Let's talk a little bit about Excel. Okay, let me move it here. Okay, so let's run it. Okay, this is Excel file. It only contains 200 lines by default.
Yeah.
So if you only run your queries and you have Excel download, that's all you have. You also have the query itself, and well, we used to this in Oracle. Some probably SQL Navigator does the same. So for me, it was important to keep it the same way, so people, kind of have the same functionality they used to.
Yeah.
The way to get up to 5,000 is to press max.
Yeah.
So it still produces the same 200 lines here, but when you press download Excel, then your file will be bigger. I made it 5,000, but to be honest, I'm not limited with any number. So that's usually it's enough, but I'm waiting for someone who come to me and say, look, I need 100,000. And so far, no one came with this question, but I'm thinking what kind of response I may give to them. Maybe I don't want to allow for everybody to make it 100,000, because I'm a little bit cautious.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting for somebody to come with this request.
especially when you're testing something. I don't think anybody wants 100,000 records. So
yes, that's true.
Okay. So you press max and then you press Excel again.
Yeah, that's how it works. So it's only kind of for Excel.
Okay.
The way I use it is just sometimes not for 5,000 rows, but sometimes it's just a little bit more than 200. You need just maybe 400, 500 of something. You just need to see them in Excel. So you just need to make sure it fits.
Yeah.
So it's not like cut, like you have 220 and your program just cut 200. Give me some more. That's the purpose of it.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, I think we covered the functionality.
Okay. Maybe I can ask a couple more questions, Alexey.
Sure.
One is, what are you thinking in terms of the future for SQL Harmony? What are your plans? What are new enhancements that you're maybe thinking of introducing?
Okay. There's big brainstorming process about the future, and Mikhail is part of it. Is a very important part of it. He has many ideas, and we don't have like one mainstream flow which we follow. That's in a way we trying several things, and SQL Harmony is the result of this effort. So like, can we just deliver this? Can we just build this? And Mikhail was able to build a driver for offline, how it's called, offline tools. GDBC, yes, GDBC driver. So that was the other thing. We think a lot about how a tool like an SQL Harmony can provide a way to organize like a tool for management of department for developers. And the case which I recently have is that one of my colleagues is working on the query, and because I check database and I found that he runs a very similar queries which I do. So I approached him and said, look, I don't want to be on kind of privileged side because I saw it from database, but you working on a very similar task, which I work. Would you like me to share with you my experience? Because I think that you don't use some of the features which I do, and also, and I think it's really important when in hypothetical situation, like if consider SQL Harmony as a way to organize a department for developers, so you can make sure, for example, that people see each other's queries. It's not just, you know, one person can have access to database, and I think it's a really nice feature potentially to be added. Like as long as we share the same instance and we work in the same instance, we can see each other queries, provided we agreed on that. And I think this is something which increase productivity a lot, because and like imagine this situation that as a manager of development team for maybe 5-6 people, and I know that people will work on a little bit logistics and finance and inventory. So what I can do, I can make sure I can ask the most experienced people from all of these fields and ask them to put, you know, most fundamental queries with a lot of joins in database. Just run it once and make sure they run. And then I can allow less experienced developers to work, because I will know that as soon as they want like EGP system items or I don't know, OSS subscriptions, so they can just type it and search, and they very easily get all the working queries with their statuses, like, and they know that this query worked and produced the result. And I believe that tools like SQL Harmony, if it's developed and you know, developed into this phase, it can be really a great tool of, you know, organizing this work. So, and Mikhail liked the idea of you know, organizing like an umbrella structure. So like one guy is kind of holds the instance, holds the rights for the instance, and for example, he can you know, hire some developers and give them this instance, and they will not even put their credentials. So they'll just enter to the system, and the box will be already for them. So they will not even know like what's the credentials. They will not even know the passwords and login. So all they have to do, they just press on this box and they should start working. And I think that some teams may find this useful. This thing I think of, and I started building SQL Harmony too, by the way. I started learning Vue.js and started, you know, thinking about design. I think in SQL Harmony 2, the feature which will be added for sure is the navigator for BI. I believe that here on the right side, people would really appreciate if some navigator appeared the same way it appears in BI. But because we have instances here, we can, you know, quickly switch between them, which is not the case for BI. So we can use this as a tabs, you know, and this will require quite a lot of work. Parameters, a very important feature somebody mentioned in YouTube. Parameters are probably added in this version. It deserves to be part of this version. But the only thing is parameter is just I'm thinking like how to integrate them into user interface, like, because like should it be another line here, or like I want to avoid, you know, windows, flying windows. That's I want to avoid. So I think like maybe, I don't know, maybe have some area here, because I don't want to steal a lot of space from editor itself and from data. So I don't want them to be wide, because I want user to have access, to data and to query. So that's why this line is so narrow.
Yeah. And if Mikhail, did you have a suggestion for the parameters?
Yes, for sure. I already explained, Alexey, about the pop-up window. It's a quite usual approach, and from technical perspective, it's quite feasible just to parse parameters, put them in a tabular format, and for sure it can be some limitation due to the data type, either it's a date or it's characters or it's a number. But it's mostly for the experienced developer who run it. Because, for example, how I use the tool, I copy from ABI. In ABI Oracle report, we always have a parameters, ledgers, BU, etc. date. You copy it. Then when you start to execute it, the system checks if it's any parameter are properly binded to this query, and then execute. And from technical perspective, we just replace one parameter to the given value. Quite simple. Or if it's not provided, you consider how to process it. Put null or whatever. It depends.
Yeah, I think even
it's feasible. It's feasible. Just Alexey needs some time just to implement it.
Yeah. Like in SQL Developer and even Toad, when you have parameters, it would pop up a window.
Yeah.
Just So I think. Okay, good.
Because Alexey tries to move to the new technologies, and we already discussed the certain points that first of all we try to move from the Python to the more heavy solution, more productive solution. Why? It's a stability, easy to deploy, memory usage, footprint, etc. It's a lot of nice stuff, but I think it's a little bit too technical for discussion. But for sure, this tool will be developed. What you see, in fact, SQL is just a small part, because Alexey cut in the demonstration some nice API features and whatever, which allow you to edit. For example, Alexey is a shy guy. Try to run some edit customer master data, supplier master data natively, and the idea about the usage of this technology when you can query from database and run SOAP API on top of that is provide extremely nice tool.
Yeah.
Because it's just one basic functionality for the tool which will be developed, I consider.
I got a sneak peek yesterday. Alexey was showing me a little bit of the things he's working on, so I know what's coming, but I don't want to tell anyone yet.
Yes, I also work for the admin panel for that, for the securitization. It's written on Golang. It produces an extremely nice result, but then I switched to the JDBC part, and I think it can be a separate story about the JDBC.
Yeah, let's hope that Mikhail will deliver nice backend in Golang. And Golang sounds a little bit more serious than Python. I only know Python, so I decided to go to Vue.js and front-end technology, and Mikhail, he cracked Golang, which is very nice of him. That's
good. So I had one more question, and then maybe we can stop. If I wanted to, so this is hosted on a server. If somebody is interested, would it make sense to have this hosted on their, I don't know, private server for a company so they can use it privately?
Why not? I don't see any obstacles, and to be honest, I think it's good thing to discuss. That's
okay.
There's nothing really. Nothing stops from making it on local server.
Okay, I said one more question, so maybe I'll ask one more. So I see ChatGPT. Can we integrate with other, like the choice of my own LLM? Like if I don't want ChatGPT and if I want to use, let's say, I don't know, Cohere or Claude, whatever. Like, and as an end user, do we have an option to change? Maybe in the future, I don't know.
No, for now, it's not only linked here, but it's only linked with this prompt, and the prompt is only tailored, you know, to search for errors. So
Yeah.
kind of it expects this prompt expects you to give him wrong, you know, query with mistake. So this
Yeah.
is a very limited use of ChatGPT. But what I was thinking about is that, okay, so how about we can have like select options here and just, you know, some other tool, and then what about we can do something like this, the same we use in Copilot. Have you used Copilot, by the way? Yeah, so like link this with you know, those suppliers, for example, or and then you just press, and somehow it understands that this is the instruction for him to follow. Like this can be added even with this version. I don't see any obstacle with this. The only problem is, and this is for sure, it's in plans. There are ways of combining ChatGPT with some external portion of data. And of course, the immediate plan is just to provide ChatGPT with Oracle documentation. So ChatGPT was aware of, you know, table names. Like real table names, because at the moment I see some people, they ask ChatGPT to fix the query, and the only problem with this query is just wrong name of the table. So there's like, instead of AP invoices all, it's like AP invoices all without underscore. But for ChatGPT, it's equally good. Is that like, oh, I think it's a good table. I don't see problem with it. Like, so it's just go ahead. So ChatGPT doesn't know the real table name. I think this can be addressed and fixed.
Yeah. Great. Okay. I think that's all the questions I had. I know it's almost an hour, maybe a little more than an hour that we spent. But yeah, thank you for your time, Alexey, and thank you for your you know, presenting the tool itself and talking about the future. Yeah,
thank you for giving me the opportunity.
No. I'm happy to. I'm very happy that you reached out. I go to test it out. So thanks to you. All right. So people who are watching the video, I just wanted to make sure that I call it out. If you face issues, please reach out to Alexey.
Yes.
And I'll leave Alexey's LinkedIn link to his profile in the description, so you can go check out. And, you know, if you have questions, please reach out to Alexey. And yeah, like I said,
sorry, Arun, just one comment. Please confirm that we made successful connection just before the call, so it's indeed working, because I see some people struggling with it.
Yeah.
Please confirm that. Try this.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I tried adding a connection myself just before the call, so it works. But if you see any issues, you know, just reach out to Alexey, and that's what I do. If I have issues, I just message Alexey or email Alexey.
Yeah, not so many people at the moment.
Yeah. I think this is a very helpful tool. I can see this growing. I just want to say, Alexey, you've done a fantastic job. You know, learning SQL, learning BA Publisher, and doing all of these things. It's just amazing. All right. So yeah, we'll catch up again. Maybe we'll do another one, and I'll try to fix the live stream issues next time. But at least we have this recorded. I'll upload it to YouTube so people can watch this.